But next up, like I said, she's a very good friend of ours. She has a show on CTV, Spiritual Exploration, for about 12 years now. We have her right here, the lovely Christine Schivone.
That's it. Christine.
Hello.
How are you, my dear?
Hi. How are you?
What's
I'm
happening?
good, thank you.
Nice to have you.
Nice to be here.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, always.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Right?
Now listen, we're here for you. What got you interested in spiritual subjects?
Well, going back to when I was a child, I knew that there was more than meets the eye. That there was, we were all brought up, or some of us were brought up in Christian religions and Jewish religions and whatever, but we're only given a certain amount of information. And I always knew that there was more than what they were telling us. So I ended up, I guess it just evolved into where I end up pursuing the information to pass it on to other people.
Nice.
What got you started with your show, Spiritual Exploration?
Well, if you want to go way back to the beginning when I first started with CTV, which was way before I came up with the idea.
What year was that?
Actually, I took my very first course with CTV before this building was even here, back in 1989.
Wow.
I think they were in the midst of building this studio. And Frank Dudley, good friend of mine and everybody else's here,
God
who
bless
is
him.
now not with us anymore, and we miss him very much. He's the one who actually said to me, you want to go take the course? They were giving the portable course over in Wagner College. On the grounds of Wagner College, they were renting a building to give courses, to give classes. So we both went and took that class together. And then I kind of let it go for quite a while because the equipment was bigger than me. And I said, I can't cart this stuff around and do shows like that. So then the studio was built, and once again, Frank was the one who influenced me to come and take the course here.
Yeah.
Right.
And we took the course together again. And that wasn't until 98 that he and Pat Brady and Anne-Marie Arena, if you remember Anne-Marie, they started a show called UFO Phenomena, We're Not Alone. And so I came into the studio at that point, and Frank said to me, why don't you come and start dabbling in the studio again? And I said, sure, I will, all right. So I did, and I started out floor managing for their show, and then I retook the course because you get rusty if you don't do it for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I retook the course, and back in 1999, August of 99, I started Spiritual Exploration. My first show was a half hour about gemstones, and it was interesting, it was good, and the rest is history. After a while, I applied for series, and I've been in series quite a few years.
Right.
So you're 12 years into the show?
12 years I can't believe that,
It
12
seems
years.
longer, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm here since 97.
Yeah?
With prior other stuff, and me and you've been friends since 97, since I came in here.
Well, yeah, or
And Frank
97,
Dudley.
98, that's right. That's right, yes, absolutely.
Frank
Yes.
Dudley actually took me underneath his wing.
Well, Frank was like that. He was a very kind-hearted, generous person.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great, really great.
Yeah,
Did the same for me when I started. It was
Yeah.
Sweet.
yeah, he's a very sweet man.
Now, what kind of topics do you like to speak about with your guests? Some of your favorite?
Well, I talk about all kinds of spiritual subjects, and sometimes, you may not think a subject is spiritual, but very many subjects are spiritual. And the show that's running right now is about 2012 and beyond, and we've talked about different religious subjects like Buddhism and even witchcraft. Every year I have an astrologer come on, and Deborah Rose, and she puts out all the predictions for the following year, every year. And so she comes on in November, so that in December I start airing that show. And a lot of people, I get a lot of feedback about that show. A lot of people like to hear about what's going to happen next year with their sign. It's natural. And then I do shows about healing, because one of a very spiritual subject is healing, being able to help heal people of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual ailments. And the next show I'm going to be doing will be, once again, I did it 12 years ago. I'm going to do gemstones again with a different guest than I had the last time. Right. Just all sorts of different spiritual subjects. Some go into the religious, and some just the spiritual.
Now, why don't you talk about your Reiki? You're a Reiki professor.
I'm a Reiki
right?
master, yes.
Okay.
That's a Reiki master healer. And I'm also a magnified healer. Reiki energy is a male energy. Magnified healing is a female energy. Reiki energy heals in time, but magnified healing can give an instantaneous healing. And I love that because everybody needs some kind of healing. During our life, we all need healing of one sort or another.
Yes.
And we usually run the gamut of all four: spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. You know, and we all, you know, and I got into it years ago, and I do still practice it to a certain extent now. And if a friend is feeling ill or something, and I'll just, you know, I put hands on, and they'll feel better.
Yeah, you remember my grandmother?
That's
didn't
right,
let
your
nobody,
grandmother.
nobody touched her. My birthday party years ago, you were there,
That's
and
right.
my grandmother, when she was alive,
That's right.
Christine gave her Reiki, and my
She felt
grandmother
good.
loved it.
Yeah, she loved it. She did.
I'll never forget that. It was fond memories
Well, what
back
are you
at the
doing
house.
after the show? Because I have a little.
You want some Reiki? I'll give you some Reiki.
I'm not kidding. I worked out hard today.
No, I'm not kidding either. I'm more than, if anybody asks me for it, I'm more than happy to give it.
She'll give it, and you got to pay me. And that's
Yeah, he always wants something.
I'm only teasing you. Now, listen, who were your favorite guests out of all the people that you had on the show?
Oh, that's hard to say because so many of them were really, really good. Pranananda from California. He's a holy man from California, and whenever he's going to be in town, his people will contact me and ask if I can make arrangements to do a show, and I do. And we talked about 2012 and beyond. We've talked about several spiritual subjects, and I don't know. I just have so many. I have you know, Mark is the witch from Castleton Avenue. He's always a good guest. And sometimes I'll do a live call-in show with a psychic or a medium or somebody, and the phones ring off the hook.
Yeah.
And that's how I really can tell a lot of people do watch me. And as a matter of fact, I run into people all the time that recognize me and say, oh, they love the show and they look forward to it, and it's so interesting and all that kind
It
of
is
stuff.
interesting. It is.
Thanks.
I'm very into that stuff too.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Christine, your time's almost up. Why don't we talk a little bit fast about, as you talk about the universe a lot, with all these disasters that are happening with the hurricanes, and that New York we just had like a minor earthquake. I mean,
Right.
what do you predict or feel or see
Well, first of all,
happening?
I think a lot of this stuff comes about because of what they call the collective consciousness, that people in an area, because of their own way of thinking, can collectively bring something good or bad to their whole area. And also, I think it also has a lot to do with leading up to 2012, which Buddha before was saying, oh, it's going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be the end of the world.
I don't believe
We're
that.
not going to have an Armageddon. It's not going to be anything like that. There are changes that have been happening all along that have culminated in all of the things that are going on in the world. We've seen the tsunami. We see a lot of people leaving us, and it's because they have volunteered to leave before 2012 so that they could be on the other side to help the earth and to help what's happening when 2012 does come about. And all of these people that are dying in disasters and things like that, they have a purpose. They have a reason for going. And it was all predestined because in the before all of us came here in the flesh, we all knew each other before. And we all said, we're going to go back down at this time and that time, and we're going to be friends, and we're going to be enemies, and we're going to hurt you. You know, you're going to hurt me, or I'm going to hurt you. For the experience of being able to further our spirit when it's our time, because everybody is going to go to the other side someday.
Yeah.
We all die. Nobody gets away with not dying. Eventually, we all do. But when we go there, we want to be on a higher realm. We want to be as high as we can get so that we're in more or less a real state of bliss.
Right.
Yeah.
And the better that you are here and the nicer that you are, the kinder that you are, buys you that status on the other side. And I'm talking about kindness to each other, kindness to animals, kindness to Mother Earth.
Right. Right. Very true. So listen up, people, if you want to make it up to that plateau.
Definitely.
You can't just wear heels.
Well, Christine, why don't you tell our viewing audience when and where they can watch you and catch your show?
My show is on cable and Fios on Friday night, Channel 35 at 10 p.m. So you can catch me then. It's an hour-long show. Very interesting conversations I have with people about all kinds of spiritual subjects. And people just tell me that they learn a lot of stuff that they would not have learned if not for my show.
Tune
All
in.
right, well, Christine, it's always a pleasure seeing you, my dear.
Pleasure
Thank you
seeing
so
you too.
And I
much.
will
Christine.
definitely see you soon.
Absolutely.
Let's give a warm hand for Christine Schivone. All right, Christine Schivone.
She's awesome. I think I'm going to get some Reiki done later.
No, you definitely got to get some.
Should.